Okay. So welcome back, folks. We're here for another episode of our deep dive into Salesforce Admin and App Builder through the quarantine here. In the last class, if you remember correctly, we started out our parent-child or our lookup relationship here. And if you remember, we created two objects in Schema. Now, we totally could have done it through the object manager, and that would have been fine. But I like Schema because it's visual and it's drag and drop. So we went in, we took a look, and we said, we're going to create two objects, one called parent and one called child. We just kind of drug them onto the screen. And then we created our relationship field, which was our lookup relationship field, and that field went on the child. And if you remember, let's see if I can put this up here. There we go. If you remember, we had a little drawing that went along with this. The idea of the drawing is so that when you're in the exam, you will see the drawing. I want you to see it in your mind. You know, so we said it's parent-child, it's one-to-many. Where did the field go?
On the child.
On the child. My Epic pen hasn't been working great with this new computer. Hoping maybe if I'm sharing my main screen, it'll look a little better. So we said it's parent-child, one-to-many. Where'd the field go on the child? It's a loose relationship that means what?
The users own each record?
Yeah, there's an owner on each one, right? So the user that owns the record controls security. So we said one-to-many lookup relationship, one-to-many. Each one has an owner field, which if you go in there and look, you'll see they do. That means that security is controlled by the owner of each record. What happens if I delete the parent record?
The orphan, the child is orphaned, remains.
So did everybody in class right now get to the point where you have both of the objects, the relationship, and then we also did limitations of Schema, I believe, right? Where we created our tabs for each. And then we manipulated our page layouts. So the parent object should have how many related lists in this configuration? So when you see this, I want you to automatically think related list. If you see the child object has a lookup field on it, that means that is going to be your related list. So in platform, you're going to have the detail record. And then below it in the page layout, you would have a related list called child, right? And this was parent. This related list that we see is created or available because of the lookup relationship. So did everybody get to that point? We created our tabs, we did our page layouts. If you did, then you should be able to go to your application. And then you should be able to create a parent record. So if I select new here, and I call it parent record 1. And then you should have in the hey, wait, there's no related list here. So what's the problem? What haven't I done yet? What are the limitations of Schema? Anybody?
Schema doesn't create visual representations.
Well, it didn't do the tabs, but the tabs exist. How do I know that?
Yeah,
because
they're right. They're visible.
I can see them, so I know they exist, right? So the tabs are fine. What's the second limitation of schema?
The PL or something? The PL.
The page layout.
Yeah.
It doesn't automatically add the page to the page layout.
Yeah.
So what I need to do is I need to go into my page layout for the parent object. And I want to make sure, first of all, that all of my fields are in place. You can see, did we do the page layout walkthrough yet in this class? Box 1 and box 2?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't?
We did?
Yeah, we did.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
So we've got box 1 and box 2 here, right? In the page layout editor.
Mm-hmm.
Box 1 influences box 2. So if I have it on fields, these are the fields that would be available. There's not really any fields that I need right now. The next one would be buttons. Buttons are located down here, and they only exist in Classic. So then if I choose mobile and lightning actions, you know, we aren't using Classic right now. So I'll just pull, these are quick actions in Classic for chatter. We're not using either. So I would just go through and pull all of those. We're not using them. We're being more restrictive instead of less. And then after that, I would come down here and look at the mobile. And these are very important because in mobile, these actions that I'm about to manipulate here show up as little bubbles at the bottom. They're like buttons on the bottom of the mobile device. So these are the things that you can do in mobile. In Lightning, it'll be the actions up here in the top right-hand corner. Those are your Lightning actions that you'll see. So I will override those, and I'm going to pull anything that I'm not using. I'm going to do this on every page layout. Unless they are activities, I don't log them. I don't want users to create records from mobile actions at first. I might add that functionality later. But what I'm trying to do is make this as simple and streamlined as possible. I drug the edit lightning action over here because that's what I want them to do more than anything else. So I like to put them in order, thinking of the mobile device. As I'm going, it's going to be left to right at the bottom of the mobile device. So I want to put them in a good order to where what they do most is available without having to hit a more button or a drop down or anything. I'm just pulling everything. I mean, we can't share from Lightning anyway, and I never let users clone records. So that's kind of a solid mobile action setup right there. And I would do this on every single page layout, no matter what. I'm just going through and pulling the things that I'm not going to need. My user doesn't need. Quick save this. I would do this as I would with any other object. I'm going to streamline this thing all the way down as much as I can. Then I'm going to come down here and pull all this crud I don't need. There's a lot of fields that linger in these page layouts and sections and things that you just don't need. I'm removing these sections. We don't need any links. I don't need any mobile cards. Now I'm down here on my related lists. So there were my mobile and lightning actions. Then I'm coming down to my related list. Well, how many should I have? Well, how many child objects does the parent have? Remember schema?
Many.
Well, it just has one, doesn't it, right now? It's got parent.
Oh, currently.
These are the ones that I created, right? Tasks are related to everything. That's why we have open activities and activity history. So I would grab the child object related list and drop it down in related list here on the page layout. And then save. So now I'm done on the parent object. So now I would just go back to the object manager and look at the child now and do the exact same thing. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm doing the same thing to every object, reducing it down as far as I can, making it as simple and as restrictive as I possibly can. So I could go to my child object here. And then I'm going to go to my page layout because it's a limitation of schema. I cannot, it doesn't automatically add fields to the page layout for me. So the first thing I'll do is in box 1, we're on fields. There is one field here I need to add. Parent record name, that's our lookup relationship field that we created. And once again, I would come up here and I would pull all the stuff I'm not using. Just as a rule, right when I get into a new page layout, I pull all the stuff that's unnecessary for what I'm doing. Once again, I'm going to grab the stuff I don't need. I don't like to create records from actions initially, maybe later when they're trained up a little better. If they're going to create an opportunity, I want them to do it from the related list. If they're going to create a contact, I want them to do it from the related list. If they want to create a child object, I want them to do it from the related list on the parent. Once again, I've just cleaned this up a little bit. I like to keep them in the same order. That'll be nice. Go down to buttons, pull anything I don't need. I like to let people clone. There's my field. I'm going to pull these fields that I don't need. Remove the sections. Are there any related lists I'm going to need other than activities? There aren't any because there's no child objects associated with the child that I created. So I created my objects, created my relationship, created my tabs, did my page layouts. So now you should be able to go into the app and create a parent record. I'm going to call it parent record 1. But from the related list that I added to the page layout, I can create a child record called child record 1. Now I have a parent with a related child. So I need everybody to get to this point. Take a little time. If you need some help getting there, I'm happy to help, but get to the point where you can create a parent record and then relate a child from the related list area. Because what we're going to do next is show what's called cascading delete, where if I have a parent record and I delete it in a lookup relationship, what happens?
Child's orphaned.
Child is orphaned, and you'll see on the child, the record still exists, but the field is empty. See it? It's orphaned.
So what's the reason for that? Would it be reassociated with another object at some point? Why are they not both deleted when you delete the parent?
That's because it's a loose relationship. The lookup relationship is loose. Each one has an owner, and one can exist without the other. You don't have to have a parent record to have a child.
Right.
The other relationship type that we're going to discuss is the reverse. The child cannot exist without the parent. So you have what's called cascading delete in that case. So if you delete the parent, all related records would be deleted. It's one of the differences between the two relationship types. This one is the safest one, and it's the one that's used the most because it is a loose relationship. I'm just trying to put a related list on an object, generally with lookup, or I'm trying to report somehow on something. So I would create a lookup. So does anybody need help getting here? Does anybody need more time? I don't know how far along you guys are.
Hi, Ryan.
Yes.
Could you please help me with this one?
Sure. Let me stop sharing here. There you go. You should be able to share now.
Oh,
Oh,
so,
those your babies. They're beautiful.
oh yeah, I delivered in December, so
Oh
they're
my
still
God.
very tiny.
Oh my
Thank you.
God. You were a busy person.
I have twins. Yes, I have twins. Very busy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Enjoy that because mine is a little demon right now.
Yeah.
He's 3 and he is just like anything he can do to get in trouble, he's doing it. It's so
Oh
fun.
gosh. Yeah. When they are like start walking, that's when the trouble starts, I think.
I'm telling you. Anywho, so where are we here? We're on the parent. Okay, so you're doing your page layout. You obviously created the tab already, right? Do you have the tabs on in the app itself?
I think I just created object. I don't think I created a tab.
Okay, so let's start there then. Let's go let me look at your app real quick. Let's just make sure. So go to your sales app.
Oh.
Okay, so you don't have the tabs yet. So now go to setup, and in setup, you want to search tabs. And then it has some built-in smarts. Hiding in the center of the screen, you'll see a little tiny new button right in the very middle, right next to what is this? There you go. Hit that. And then it'll know which ones don't have tabs. So just choose whichever. Okay. Well, that's interesting. You do have tabs created. So can you go to, let's see, so your tabs exist, but it looks to me like you didn't assign them to the admin profile. So if you could go to setup and go to profiles for me.
Sales. Go to the sales view.
Actually go to yours, go to the admin profile. So system admin.
Where is it?
You got to go to the little S in the top right-hand corner. You can see the alphabet there. You hit, it's under system administrator. So it's on the next page.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Okay, so if you do hit edit, let's look at your tab settings. They would be custom objects. So scroll all the way down to the bottom of the tab settings there. You should see custom objects below. Those are all standard. There we go. So up a little bit. Sorry. Go back up to the very bottom of tab settings. I just want to see. All right.
Right here.
So parent and child are default on. So they should be on the bar, but they're not. Notice everyone.
Yeah.
So keep scrolling down. Don't give up. Keep scrolling down on the profile. It's not a system permission, but it is going to be an object permission, I'd wager. We'll see. If not, it's an app problem. Yeah, see, you've got view all, modify all for those. So it's not on that side of things. You need to go to the app manager in setup. So we need to add our tabs to the nav items on the app manager for you. And then find your sales, Lightning Sales app, that one. Yep. And hit edit. Yeah, I think you got it. Now nav items on the left there, navigation items. Yeah, so you can remove energy audits and replace it with parent and child. Save. All right, let's take a look at your app now. So go back into Salesforce.
Can I just go back like that?
Yep, sure.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at your sales app.
Okay.
Can you refresh your browser for me? It might take it a moment for the change to happen. A way you can ensure that it did happen is to go into Classic. Actually, no, that might not work. So that's okay. Just give it a while. Changes aren't happening in real time in Lightning right now for some reason. I don't know why that is. So let's continue onward. So we know we have the tabs now. We know it's in the application.
Mm-hmm.
So then now do your page layouts. So let's go to your object manager. And then by the time we get done here, it'll probably be fixed.
Which
The
one?
object
Oh,
manager
parent.
for
First we're doing
parent,
parent, right?
All right. So see that parent object field there? You're in fields.
Yes.
That field should probably be called, okay, what is that? That's a lookup to what object itself? Yeah, that one doesn't make any, that doesn't make any sense, that field. So let's go to your related list and take a look in box 1. So related list, box 1, up in the top left-hand corner, where it says fields, buttons, quick actions. Yeah, let's look at related lists there. Okay, so your problem, let's go to schema. I want to see your schema now. So go to the object manager. And then schema, top right-hand corner. All right, so just bring up parent and child for me. Yeah, see, you're looking up to the, okay. Under that parent object right there, see where that field that looks up to the contact, right click that and delete that thing. So that parent object field in schema under owner, the field itself in schema, go down, right click that parent object field in schema. No, the actual field itself, like the name of it, right click it and delete it. And then it looks like it has, you can delete. It looks like it has another lookup relationship. Can you go down and see what that's related to? The parent? Okay, that makes sense. So we got one on the, that's good. So now what you want to do is put your parent object up and a little bit to the left of the child so you know it's the parent. So the child object is going to be your child. Right now, okay, so get rid of that task object. It's just confusing you right now. So uncheck or get rid of tasks. You should be able to just left click the cog there, I think. And you can just remove it from the canvas or right click it. It's the little cog at the top of the object itself. There. Yeah, hide object on canvas. All right. Now we're only working with parent and child here. All those other ones don't matter right now. What we want to do is put the child object as a related list on the parent. Well, the reason you couldn't do that in the page layout on the parent object because you didn't have the relationship field created. So in order to create a relationship field between a parent and a child, think about the drawing. Where does the field go?
On the child.
Right? So go to your Elements tab where the setup tree normally is. Grab the Lookup relationship field data type and just drag it over and drop it on the child object. Call it parent record name. It would be like opportunity name, right? Parent, because it's just a variable we're using, parent record name. And then we're going to relate it back to the parent. So the field's called parent record, and we're looking up to the parent. Go ahead and save, and now you'll see that nice little lookup relationship will exist between the two. See that?
Yes.
So now, working from schema, I know my limitations of schema are, number one, I don't have any tabs, but we know the tabs already exist. Number two is page layout. So from schema, in both the parent or the child, go to the little cog for parent object. Click on that, left click it, and go to the page layouts for that object. See how you can work right from schema? View page layouts. Now for the first one, that's going to be our parent. Go ahead and click on that. Now, you don't have any fields to add right now, but you do have some actions to deal with. Notice the quick actions in the Salesforce Classic Publisher. Override those and remove them all. Well, you could go there. That's okay. But go down into the editor itself. Do you see the blue writing? Override the global publisher layout. Override it and pull all those actions because it's in Classic. We're going to be very restrictive. So if they're not using it, remove it. So pull those actions and drop them into box 2. Every one of them. We don't need it. Box 2 is the one to the right of box 1 up there. Top.
Right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. So just drag and drop those into box 2. And then the next thing on the list inside a page layout are the mobile and lightning actions. These are the actions that are going to show up in mobile and in the top right-hand corner in the lightning experience. So you can override those as well. Do you see that? And then I'm pulling anything out of there that I can. So new prospect you can lose. Post and file you can get rid of. Those are chatter actions. We're not using chatter. You can get rid of post and file. You can get rid of new contact. Any kind of record creation that is not an activity, I immediately remove those. I like them to do record creation from related lists. We can remove new opportunity, new case, new lead, link, and poll. You can get rid of all of those. Question, get rid of it. Link, poll, question, printable view, you can get rid of all of those actions. So printable view, prospect, you can get rid of. Poll and link you can get rid of. Sharing we can't do in Lightning anyway, so you can get rid of that. For approval we can get rid of. Sharing's like right after change record type. There it is.
Oh, sharing. Okay.
There you go. And then get rid of submit for approval. You can get rid of clone. Edit I like to move to the far left, because that's what I want them to do the most, is to enter data. So I'll put that in a really easy place for them to find. Delete's going to be controlled by our object settings. So we can leave that there. And then, no, just leave delete, because we'll control that with object settings on their profile. You can remove from the buttons below. Do you see the buttons? You can remove clone, printable view. You can remove both of those buttons. Okay. So now we got a nice streamlined top half up here. Let's do the bottom. So I'm going to pull all those fields except for parent object name and just leave it for right now. So owner, you can put below it. It's already in the details section.
Wait.
You see owner on the right-hand column in that top section where parent object name is. To the right of it, you'll see owner and sample text. You can pull that below parent object name, the owner field. To your right, right of center.
Okay.
Down in the details section, not up there, not in box 2, but down in the details section. See where it says you have parent object name as a field below your actions down there?
Okay.
Okay, those are buttons below that even. See that first section, you got parent object name and then owner to the right? Way over, owner.
Change owner?
Nope, that's a button to your right further still. The field itself.
Oh, right here? This
There
one?
you go.
Grab that, put it underneath parent object name, directly underneath it.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. below parent object name, not the detail. So there's a field to the left of the owner field there, parent object name, sample text. Down a little bit, down a little more. There, right there, below it. Nope, owner below the parent object name. There you go. Now you can take created by, last modified by, drop them in box 2. Now, do you see the little section there, system information? On the very far right-hand side there, you see a little minus. You can remove that section. It's all the way over on the right. There's a wrench and a little minus sign. Way over there. You can remove that section, hit OK. Do the same thing with any other sections. We don't have any, so we're good. Now we can go down to related lists. So scroll down. You have 2. We'll leave those because those are our activities. But we're also going to want our child object related list. So in box 1, choose related lists. Good. Now grab your child object related list and drag it above open activities related list. Above. Put it above open. There, up, down a little more. It'll light up right below the related lists section. Right there.
Here?
Boom. That's it. Let it go. Release. Nice. Did it work?
No.
Try it again.
Oh,
You'll get it.
should I just
Yep,
release
just let
now?
it go. Just release.
There we go. Okay.
There it is. So now you can save it. So you've got your object. You've got your page layout handled. Yes. You got your related list on the parent. Now you got to do the same thing on the child object. So go to your child object in the object manager. You'll notice this becomes very repetitious. I do the same thing for every page layout. That way I don't make mistakes. So the first thing we've got is the chatter publisher. Pull all your actions. This time will be much easier, I think. Because she knows what she's doing now, I think. Or before, she didn't. All right, there's our mobile and lightning actions. We're going to clean those up. Remove anything that is not an activity. We'll leave record type because you might need to change that eventually. Well, you don't have to, but yeah, you're good. My mobile and lightning actions are the actions that show up in the top right-hand corner of my record page. And they're also the buttons that will show up in mobile, the little bubbles that show up in mobile. It's both.
Is that it? Should
Well,
I get rid of this one too?
Yeah, I'd get rid of ops and cases and leads, links, polls, questions. I'd get rid of all that crud. You don't need new prospect. I think you got rid of tasks. So link, poll, question you could get rid of. Look at your mobile and lightning experience actions in box 1. There you go. You should see new task. Drag that over probably next to email. You can get rid of new prospect. And then we'll edit, log a call, task, email. That looks pretty good. Link, poll, question you can get rid of. We're not using chatter currently. You would probably want to change record type. So, and change owner. So I would probably drag those back in there. It's not a huge deal right now because we're not really going to use this for that. But I would have change owner and change record type in there for sure. Okay, that looks good. Then you go down and you pull your fields you don't need. We'll grab that owner field, put it under the child object name, and then get rid of those created by, last modified by. Those buttons, doesn't really matter. That's classic only. So that owner field you can put below the child object name field. There, she got it. And then get rid of those. Who cares? Users don't care. There we go. So then we also want to look at our fields here. So in box 1, look at your fields, because I know that there is a relationship field that we created on the child. See parent record name. That's our lookup relationship. It was not automatically added in box 2 there. It was not automatically added to our page layout. So we have to add it. So put it underneath child object name in the layout. Right there is perfect. And then let's take a look at our related lists. I know there aren't going to be any, so related lists in box 2, but I still check just in case. But there should not be any related lists in box 1 that we would even add here. So if you chose related lists in box 1 up at the top, you're not going to have anything that we're going to add here because it's the child, right? So we can save. Now we should have, anyway, don't forget to save this. Our page layouts are handled. So now you should be able to go to the sales application. Whoa. There we go. And then create, see that's fixed now. So go ahead and create a parent record on the parent object. So click the parent objects tab there, hit the new button, top right-hand corner, and we're going to call it parent record 1. Save. Now from the related list tab, you should be able to create a child record called child object 1, but do it from the new button on the far right-hand corner, or there, do it from there. Call it child record 1. Save. Now you have a parent with a related child. What happens if you delete the parent record?
The child becomes orphan.
That's correct. So the action, the mobile and lightning action in the top right-hand corner of the screen on your parent record, see where it says delete? All the way top right.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Top right here. There you go. That's your mobile and lightning actions up there that we made. See? So if you hit delete there, go ahead and delete. Now you'll notice that the child object still exists without a parent record. So look at your child record 1. It's orphan, see?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know she learned something for sure. Anybody else need help?
Thank you.
Uh-huh. The next time you do that, it'll be much easier. So what did we say? We look at our drawing again here. What have we proven so far about lookup relationships? We said it's one to many. Where's the field go?
Child.
On the child.
It's loose, meaning what?
Each object has its own owner.
Each one has an owner, so security is controlled by the owner of each record. What happens if I delete the parent?
Becomes orphan.
Child
Child becomes orphan.
We just proved all that, yes? In platform. So then, can I do this? Can I pull information from the parent to a child?
No.
Yes.
Parent to a child, yes.
With what?
With the
Oh.
cross object formula.
Cross object formula. So that's what I'm going to do now. In order to make this work, I'm going to create 2 Picklist data types. And they're both going to go on the parent object. So I'll grab my Picklist data type, drag it over on the parent, and I'm going to call it region. It's going to be north, south, east, and west. So it's a pick list with 4 values: north, south, east, and west. Now we could display them alphabetically if we wanted, or we could use the first value as a default value. Why do we need to be careful about these default values in a pick list?
Because if someone doesn't actively pick one, it's going to default to that.
Users are going to tab through if there's already a value, generally. The time that we use this checkbox is if it's a business process. We want it to start in the first stage, right? Or in the first status. So be careful of this one. So there was my first one. Now I'm going to create a second one the exact same way called zone. And it's going to be A, B, C, and D as the values. So I'll give folks a moment to catch up here. 2 pick lists, one called region, one called zone. North, south, east, west, A, B, C, and D. Give you just a moment here. I'll be back in 1 sec. Everybody get there? Anybody need time?
Yeah.
What are the
Could you?
limitations of schema?
Can't see the tabs. And I'm cheating. Doesn't automatically add the tabs to page layout. So those are the same thing?
Tabs, page layout, field level security. I can also not do a cross object formula in schema. It won't let me create it. I can only do formulas that exist on one object. I can't go cross object. But we already did the tabs. We know they exist. And our page layout is created, but it's not automatically going to add our fields to the page layout in schema. So I need to go to my page layout and add those fields that we created.
So Ryan, there seems to be a lot of limitation with schema. I mean, you know, one of my friends, she works as a Salesforce admin, and she said she never really used it because she finds it's kind of tedious. Like, I understand it's for the visual purpose, but she doesn't use it because she feels like she has to redo the work anyway.
Well, think about this for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it in the object manager, it brings up the tab wizard for you, right?
Yes.
If you check the box, okay. But you still have to take the time to create the tab. It's just automatically popping up for you, right?
Right.
So there are a couple extra clicks where I got to go in and create a tab and know to do that in schema. Maybe 2 extra clicks, right? I got to go to setup and then tabs, create my tab. Yes, which I would have to do. I'm doing that anyway if I do it in the object manager through setup. The second thing is it doesn't automatically add it to the page layout. But what you'll find is if you do it through the object manager, through the setup tree, It just throws it in the page layout. It doesn't put it anywhere specific. It puts it in one little spot, and what I would argue is you're still going to have to go into the page layout and fix it. It is not saving you any time. The reason your friend doesn't like to use Schema is because she doesn't or he does not like the interface of Schema. But I have news for you. If I develop an application in Schema and she develops it using the object manager, I'm going to destroy her on time. She won't touch me. I will have her so beat on time that it will make her look poor to her peers if I'm using Schema and they are not, especially if they're all custom objects that we're talking about. I mean, how does she know which one's the parent and the child if she's not using Schema? She going into the object manager and looking at that, which I would argue that takes a huge amount of time. You're going to mess up more often than not, putting the relationship on the wrong object, right? So I get that there are limitations to Schema, and that stinks. But overall, you know, if I'm just creating one field, for instance, and your friend's an administrator, not a developer necessarily, but if I'm just creating one field, I'm probably not doing it in Schema, right? If I'm just creating a field in an object, I'm probably just doing that in the object manager. But I would argue it's not saving you that much time because you're still going to have to go in and fix the page layout. The only upside to it is field level security. That's the only real upside to it, is it gives you the opportunity to add field level security upon field creation. But if I've got 25 objects all related to each other, and I need to create 600 fields on those 25 objects, and you're using the object manager and I'm using Schema, there's no way you're keeping up. Because I'm just dragging and dropping fields on the right object. You have to go to the object manager, object of interest, fields and relationships, hit the new button, right? I mean, all of that takes time, where I'm just going zing, 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 zing. And then at the end, I'm doing the page layout once. You see what I mean? I'm doing everything I can do, building the application, creating my tables, then my columns, my relationships. And then at the end of the process, I'm going to the page layout and I'm fixing it all at once. So what I would say to your friend is that it may seem like the limitations make you do more. In actuality, you're probably going to have to do it anyway for everything except field level security. But really what it comes down to is, does the application work? Because there is no real wrong way, in my opinion. As long as the app works, meets the requirement, comes in on budget and on time, then I mean, I don't care if you write the thing in code, I guess. But just from somebody that has worked a lot of projects, if you're not using Schema, you're probably doing it wrong. Probably. Not for everything, but you should be using it quite a bit to be able to see things visually. I'll get off my soapbox here.
All right, thank you.
Yep. You're going to go back and tell your friend, well, he said, no, I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Where am I? I'm on the parent. I got to add my fields. So I added my region and zone fields here. Just added them to the page layout. That's it. So now if I go to the app and look, I should have two pick lists. Oops. One region and one zone. So see how these two pick lists, all the values exist here. So there could be a situation where, let's say if they choose the region of North, let's say the North region only has two zones, A and B. Would it make sense to have A, B, C, and D available if there's only two?
No.
We really want to be more restrictive if we can, right? So what I'm going to do now is create something called a field dependency. I'm going to have a controlling field, which is going to be the region field, and it's going to determine what values are available when that region is selected for the zone field. It's a way we can limit values in a pick list pretty quickly and easily based on a controller and a dependent field and a dependency. So you do this through the object manager. Go to your object of interest. Parent. And then in the top right-hand corner, under fields and relationships, you'll see field dependencies up here. So I went to the parent object in the object manager and went to field dependencies. And I'm going to select new. Now you may see a test question on this. So if you're writing those down, now would probably be a good time. They'll ask you which data types can be a controlling field in a field dependency. So there's only two things that can be controllers: checkboxes and pick lists. So it'll probably be a choose two question. What types of field can be a controlling field in a field dependency? Checkboxes and pick lists.
What would the wrong answers be? What would they try to guide you to?
Well,
I mean,
they'll
that seems
probably
obvious,
say
so.
which of these data types can be a controlling field, and they would give you other data types as well as checkbox and pick lists. So the data type being the type of custom field that you created. So they might have address, they might have number, they might have text as other data types. But the ones that matter are checkboxes and pick lists for the controlling field. On the dependent side, that is another test question that you might see. One or the other, you might even get both, who knows? But for a dependent field, it's only pick lists and multi-select pick lists. So that's an easy one to memorize for a couple of free test questions there. But we'll choose region as the controller and zone as the
pick
dependent.
lists and checkboxes?
Pick lists and checkbox for the controlling field and dependency. It's the only two data types they can be. And then for dependent fields, they can only be pick lists and multi-select pick lists. So I made region my controller, dependent, zone my dependent. And now this is weird looking at first, but it's pretty simple. Just double click the zone that works for the region. So let's say north only has one, but south has two. East has A, B, and C. I'm just double clicking them to turn them this yellowy color. And then west has all four zones. This is saying if north is selected, we're only going to have A available. If south is selected, we'll have A and B. If east is selected, it'll have A, B, and C. And if west is selected, it'll be A, B, C, and D. So we're limiting the number of values based on the value chosen in the controlling pick list. And what this will look like if you preview it, it'll be something like this. North will only have A. South will have A and B. East will have A, B, and C. And west will have everything. Anybody need help? So now you should be able to go to your application, go to parent, look at your record. This new computer I got, they switched the function button and the control button. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. the field dependency. So now I have a parent record with, I'm going to relate the child record that already exists back to the parent. So I'm just kind of reparenting here. So now I have a parent record with a related child. What we're going to prove now is what we call a cross-object formula. So we have a parent, a child, one-to-many. Where does the field go? On the child. It's a loose relationship, meaning that each record has an owner. If I delete the parent, the child is what's known as orphan. We proved up to there. Now we have these two fields. What we're going to want to do is on my child records, I want to have the region and zone, but I don't want to have to fill it out again. We should only be filling things out once. And because of this lookup relationship, it creates kind of a one-way highway here. I've been notating it like this. Can I pull information or do calculation from the parent to the child? The answer is yes. This is our cross-object formula. So what we'll have here is we'll have our region field and our zone field. Each one of those has a value, north and A, right? So what we'll do is I'm going to use a cross-object formula to create a field on the child record called region/zone, like that, and it's going to read north/A. And because it is a formula field, it will be locked. It'll be read-only. Formula field data types are always read-only. So I'm pulling the information I need down to any related child records from the parent using this cross-object formula. One of the limitations of Schema, however, is I cannot create these in Schema. I have to do it through the object manager with cross-object formulas. So here's what this looks like. I'm going to go to Setup. And then on my parent object, I'm sorry, my child object, because that's where the data is going to show up. I want it on the child in this case. It's a one-way. I can't go back up to the parent from the child. It has to be from the parent to the child. I'm going to pull that region and zone field by creating a formula field data type in the object manager. So I went to child object, select new. My data type is going to be formula. My return type down here is going to be text because I want it to return text. I'm going to call this region/zone. It's just like that. Then into my formula editor here, I always choose the advanced formula tab. And now I'm going to show you how to do this incorrectly the first time because I want you to see a very particular error message. If you see this in a formula, if you see this syntax error, you won't know what necessarily means unless you've seen it. So I'll save you from the 20-hour troubleshoot here. So you would think what we would want here is, right now I'm in the child object. You can tell because there's this little caret next to the child object, and these are all of the fields in my child object right now. There's a field called parent record name that is a lookup relationship. Because that lookup relationship field exists, I can go cross object in the object manager. So I can go parent record name with the little caret. Now I'm in the parent object. So I can say region, insert, and then concatenate. Remember, this is going to be incorrect. Literal slash and concatenate. This is just Excel syntax. And then you might go in and say, all right, I want the zone field. So this is saying, bring whatever is selected for region, put a literal slash in there, and then put whatever is selected for zone. That would be what we want to happen. But what you'll find when you check syntax in this configuration here is you get this error. Field region is a picklist field. Picklist fields are only supported by certain functions. What this error is telling you is that one or more of the fields in the editor is a picklist field. The problem with that is that it doesn't return a text value. It's in a different format. So what we have to use is a function for this. So when you get that error, this syntax error, it means you need a text function in front of your pick list. So I'm going to come over here, pop out my text function there, highlight value, and I'm going to drop in my region field cross object here. Just like that. Once again, I'll do my concatenate with a literal slash, another concatenate. And then I'll need another text function because the zone field is also a pick list. What this does is it says, tell me whatever the value is for the pick list field, and we're going to turn that into text. So we can then use it in the formula. So once again, I will go cross object and find my zone field. I'll go ahead and put this into chat for you. For those of us that aren't coders, this can get a little messy. I don't want to lose you too much here, so let me put this in chat for you. So you could just copy and paste this into place if you don't want to take the time in the formula editor. Okay. Check your syntax. You should be good to go. No syntax errors. Since I did this through the object manager, it does give me field level security. You might see a test question in regards to the fact that formula fields are always read-only. Even if you make it invisible, read-only, you can't get rid of it. That's because you can't change the resultant. You can only change the formula. I'm just going to make it visible for everybody to save us some time here. Next. And then it says, which layout do you want to add it to? Well, it's going to add it just anywhere in the layout here. But now I have a cross-object formula in place. The desired outcome here is to have that north with a slash and then A on the related child record. This is a cross-object formula. So now, depending on what I have chosen for north and A here, for the parent, now I should have a related child record. And right now it's not showing region and zone because it happens upon save. So I have to edit and save. There we go. That's a cross-object formula. So I have my parent record where I chose my region and zone. And then I have a related child. And notice that I can't change it. It is locked. It's read-only. So if everyone could, let's do that. Remember, you have to do this on the child record, and it has to be done through the object manager. If you need help, let me know. Did you guys get it or no? take that as a maybe.
I kind of get it, but I'm a little behind with the practice, so I'll probably have to ask questions next week if I have run into any.
No, that's fine. Yeah, just remember the drawing.
Yes, I have that.
Yeah, if you know that, when you get that relationship question, you should see the drawing and all the key points will be there.
Yes.
Which is going to be, you know, for the exam, the important part. But more importantly, it's can you build the darn thing? That's really what I'm trying to get you to the point where you can understand how to build it. So that was our parent-child. I cannot, if you remember from the drawing, can I aggregate from the child back to the parent?
No.
Not in a lookup. So what they're saying there, so I can prove this to you, is you cannot use a roll-up summary on a lookup relationship, meaning that I can't go to the Elements tab, grab a roll-up summary, put it on the parent. This relationship type does not support that kind of aggregation from the child back to the parent. It's one of the limitations of the lookup relationship. You have to have what's called a master detail relationship here in order to do that type of function. So here's the next piece of this, and it's another drawing. Shocker, right? There it is. So it looks like this. This is called a master detail relationship. It is just another field, just like our lookup relationship data type. And it's very similar to lookup. It has some pretty major differences, but it's also very similar. We've got what we call a master and a detail. They are also considered parent-child. When I'm creating these, I call them master and detail and try to avoid parent and child so I don't get confused. But it is parent-child. It is also still one-to-many. Where does the field go? It goes on the detail. So none of that has changed. However, it is a strong relationship. This means that only the master has an owner. So security for the detail record is controlled by the owner of the master. It also means if I delete the master record, then the detail record is also deleted with what's known as cascading delete. It will cascade. They will both be deleted. I can pull information from the master to the detail just like I did in lookup with a cross-object formula. Same exact functionality available. No change there. However, I can aggregate from the detail back to the master using what's known as a roll-up summary field data type that I just drug over and showed you there. I can do 4 things with it. I can count, sum, min, and max. Roll-up summary, count, sum, min, and max. That field goes on the master. I'll draw it again. Master, detail relationship, key points. Well, we had a master and we had a detail. Means parent-child, one-to-many. Where's the field go? On the detail. It's a strong relationship, meaning what?
Only master has the owner, and
only the master has an owner. Security is controlled by the owner of the master for both records in the relationship. What happens if I delete the master?
detail gets deleted too.
Detail gets deleted with cascading delete. Can I pull information from the master to the detail?
Yes.
With what?
With the cross-object
formula, just like before. Can I aggregate from the detail back to the master?
Yes.
With what? Roll up summary.
Roll up summary.
I can count, sum, min, and max. Where does that field go? on the master. Do it again. Master detail relationship key points. I got a master and a detail. That means it's one to many. Where's the field go? On detail. It's strong, meaning what? Only the master has an owner. Security is controlled by the owner of the master for each record. What happens if I delete the master? Cascading delete. Can I pull information from the master to the detail? Yes, cross-object formula. Can I aggregate from the detail back to the master? Yes, roll-up summary field. What can I do with it? Count, sum, min, max. Where's the field go? On the master. So the question would be, why do we use master detail relationships? What are the differences?
You can do the aggregate from detail to master. Like
The
you can-
roll-up summary,
Yes.
that's one. So the roll-up summary field, if you want to say count the number of opportunities, right? Or you want to count the number of detail records on the master, so you can see on the master record how many there are. Or if you wanted to sum amount fields or something on detail records and put that on the master. What's the other reason we use master detail? The other difference?
Well, if the master's deleted, the detail gets deleted too. So that's
Cascading delete. Those are the only two reasons to use them. Do not use them in any other situation. They are dangerous. If it's a red flag if you walk into an org and you see a bunch of master detail relationships in an app. They didn't know what they were doing, because it's very difficult to back out of a master detail relationship once data is already in the table. It becomes very hairy. It has some major implications to reporting. So you need to be very, very careful about when you use these, and you should only use them if you understand them. If you don't understand them, then you need to just use lookups. So now I'm just going to build this again. I'm going to do this really quickly. I want you to figure this out. So I'm going to demo it, but I want you to, so just watch me do this and then do it after I do it. I want to show you how quickly this can be done. Right? So I'm going to create two objects, one called master. One called detail. All right, it's master detail one to many. Where's the field go?
detail.
On the detail. I'm going to call it master record name. Relate it back to the master. There we go. What are my limitations of schema? Well, first, tabs, right?
Doesn't create tabs, doesn't add page layout, doesn't.
Field level security. So I'll go to tabs. I'm going to create my two tabs, one for master and one for detail. Now, if you'd have done this to the object manager, it would have automatically brought up the tab wizard, which would have taken you right here. It took me a couple extra clicks. hidden for everybody, and then turn it on for myself. Which app? The sales, Lightning Sales app. Now I'll do my next tab, which is going to be detail. So there's my tabs. What's my second limitation of schema? Page layouts. So I'll go to my page layout for the master object. And I'm just going through my routine here, my standard page layout routine. All right, so I'll come down here to my chatter actions, get rid of those for classic since we're not using them. Then I would come down here to my mobile and lightning actions, pull anything that's not any good. Killing me. I don't know why that thing highlights. I wish I knew the reason for that so I could avoid doing it. I think my mouse is a little jacked. I like to put edit far left. Not using approvals or anything. Probably log a call. Task event. No printable. No clump. Then I'm going to come down to my buttons, pull anything I don't need in my buttons. Then I'll come down into this area. I'm going to pull anything I don't need. I'm just restricting this down like we did last time. If there's no other fields I need to add, I'll pull these sections that I don't need. And then related lists, don't forget about those. I know there is one that I need. That's going to be my detail object related list, just like we did last time. So now I need to do my detail page layout. Just go to the object manager to do it from here. Whatever's quicker. Page layouts and detail object. Once again, I'm going to start at the top. What do I got here? Well, I've got my chatter. Then I got my mobile and lightning actions. I'm going to override those, pull the ones I don't need. This is the stuff people don't do, and this is why people fail with user adoption. Because they don't keep things as restrictive as they should. There's too many options. They're giving people functionality they don't need. That makes things harder to understand. More functionality means more complexity, which means a longer time for users to adopt in order to get them to adopt, because they need to learn more. So I just go about, notice that the master record name field was automatically added here. This is because we're not going to see an owner on this one because it's a detail record. Cleaning this up as I do every page layout. I'm not going to need any extra related lists because it's the detail. So now I also know, and we'll see if you guys can figure this out, what the problem is. We'll see if there is a problem. I don't have the tabs. What happened? Oh, wait. See what I did? Very first thing, refresh your browser. If you don't, you're going to go looking for, all right, what's the problem? You're going to do the 20-hour troubleshoot. trying to figure out where your tabs are. It's just, you were looking at a previous version of your record page there. So now I should be able to create a record called master record 1. And then from the related lists area, I should be able to create a detail called detail record 1. Exactly none of that was any different than what we did on the lookup side, is it? Just creating a couple here. I'll create 3 total. So if everybody could, let's see you create your master and detail objects, get your tabs in order, make sure they're set up properly, do your page layouts, and then when you're done, I'd like you to have a master with 3 detail records related to it. If you need any help, let me know. I'd be happy to walk you through it. But it should look something like this. I'll bring up Schema so you can see it. Notice that the master has an owner, but the detail does not. Anybody need help? Need more time? Because so far, what have we proven? Well, we proved it's one-to-many. Field goes on the detail. Only the master has an owner that controls security for both. So the next question is, what happens if I delete the master? Cascading delete. So once you're there, you should be able to go into your app, delete the master record, and all 3 of the detail records should also be deleted. So I have one master with 3 related detail records. If I delete the master, we should see cascading delete. The master is gone. And now all of the detail records are also gone. So hopefully everybody sees how this is a dangerous relationship to mess around with, isn't it? If the user doesn't know when they delete a master that all of the detail records are also deleted, they might not even have access or permission to see the related objects if somebody doesn't know what they're doing. So what happens is you have records that just vanish and nobody knows why. So keep these to a minimum, only if you need cascading delete or if you want that roll-up summary, which here's the roll-up summary field. Create a new record called the master record 1. Just setting myself up for success here. And then from the related list area, I'll create a couple of detail records. I'll just create 2. So the roll-up summary allows me to aggregate from the detail back to the master. What I'm saying is that I can grab, since this master detail relationship field exists, I can grab my roll-up summary field, drop it on the master, and I can call it number of detail records, for instance. What can we do with it? Count, sum, min, or max. Let's count them. So now I have a field on my master object that is counting the number of detail records here, but my limitations of schema are tabs, page layout, field level security, cross-object formula. Well, in this case, the field wasn't automatically added to my page layout. So I'm going to go fix that. Grab my number of detail records field here, drop it in to my page layout and save. Now I should have that roll-up summary. Showing that I have 2 related master records. 2 related detail records, excuse me. I'll edit and save and it should show up because it happens on save. So that would be a roll-up summary field. Would you believe me if I told you that we could put region and zone on the master and pull it down to the detail just like we did with parent-child? So we could put region and zone on the master and use a cross-object formula here. If you trust me, save us a little time.
Yes.
Okay, and then this one works because we just proved it, right? Roll up summary, count, sum, min, and max. Field goes on the master.
Right.
There's another piece to this. And it has to do with ownership. So if we're talking about a lookup relationship, and I've got standard object related to a standard object, and then I've got custom object related to a standard object, and then I've got custom and custom, standard, standard, custom, standard, custom, custom, standard, custom. So if we're talking about a lookup relationship, here's the thing you have to understand. Standard objects always must have an owner. No matter what, they have to have an owner, a standard object. But with lookup relationships, what was our key points? It's loose, meaning what? Each one has an owner, right? That's parent and child. So if each one has an owner and standard objects must always have an owner, will this work with a lookup? Standard to standard?
Yes.
Yeah, because they both have an owner, right? So all of these will work for a lookup relationship. There's no problem there. The problem happens when we start talking about master detail. Because what were our key points there?
Only the master has the owner.
Yeah, we got master and detail. Only the master has an owner, the detail does not. So in this case, if I have a standard to a standard, can I put a master detail relationship on a standard object?
Nope.
Would not work. Why? Because the standard object must have an owner. In this case, it wouldn't work. What about custom to standard?
No.
Nope, standard must have an owner. But custom to custom is okay, right?
Yes.
So is standard to custom.
Yes.
So it's important to note that. You will probably get a test question on that. Let's do a test question. Let's see. Oops. Wonder why that. Huh. Nothing is showing. Huh. Interesting. Maybe app builder? No. Oh. All right. So let's do Salesforce. Winter 19 has some questions on it. I think this is the one I want. All right. So the first thing we say is, when we're doing test questions, what don't we do?
Don't look at the
We don't
answer.
look at the questions. And don't
We
look
don't
at
look at
the
the
answers.
answers. We don't look at the questions. So let's do our keywords.
C.
Keywords.
Roll-up summary field.
What does that make us think immediately?
That's a master detail.
So think the whole thing, master detail. What are the key points of that? One to many. Where's the field go?
Detail.
On the detail. It's strong, meaning what?
Cascade delete.
Well,
Only the master has the
The
owner.
master, yeah. Right.
security is controlled by the owner of the master for both records. What happens if I delete the master record?
It's
You
cascade.
delete the.
Cascading delete. Can I pull information from the master to the detail?
Yes.
With what?
Cross object formula?
Can I aggregate back from the detail to the master?
No.
Yes.
Yes. With what?
Roll-up summary.
What can I do with it?
Sum, count, min, and max
Where's the field go?
goes to the master.
On the master. So all of that from roll-up summary. What's the next one?
Custom object
That
on another customer.
counts. Right? The number of related records on another custom object. So they're saying this, aren't they? Custom to custom. Yes?
Yes.
So all that works for master detail. What's our next keywords?
The type of field.
Type, what is that talking about?
Record type.
Data type,
Data type.
right? It's saying what data type, what type of field, what data type is necessary before we can create the roll-up summary. And also, where should it be located? So what data type must exist before we can create a roll-up summary?
Is it formula?
No?
What data?
Oxford relationship.
It's the relationship field, isn't it? The master detail relationship field. You have to put the field on the detail before you can use the roll-up summary.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the answer?
Should be located on minus.
It's the master detail relationship field on the detail record, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what has to exist before we can do a roll-up summary. Otherwise, we won't see it. So now I'm going to look. So I can immediately eliminate 2 because we know it's not a lookup, is it? Now notice that they flip-flop these on us.
On the parent.
Does it go on the parent?
No.
It actually goes on the child, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's this field right here, the master detail relationship field on the detail record that allows us to create that roll-up summary. This is a really good test question. Really good. This is very much based on what you would see in Salesforce, like scenario wise. Did everybody get these created? If not, you probably should. It'll build some context for you. Where are we right now? Well, if we look on Trailhead, and I will do my best to get all of the recordings updated before Monday. I've been working quite a bit, fortunately. So let's see. If we look at our study guide, now remember, don't forget everything we've already learned. You got to be able to go back through the outline and talk about all this stuff. Where are we right now? Well, we're down here somewhere. See? Page layouts, creating fields, architecture and relationships. Record types are down here. So we're in what I consider the true admin portion of the class, and we've covered all of this. So we're getting there. And we've covered quite a bit of this as well. For instance, if you don't know what the sales process is now, probably haven't been paying attention. Right? So we're moving through the study guide. We don't have a whole lot more to cover, but there's still a good amount. But we're over halfway there if you do the math. You should be able to demo and speak intelligently about every single term on this outline. Because as you can see, when I do these test questions, if you can't pull the concept from the keywords, then you may as well just start memorizing flashcards, because that's all you're going to be good for is memorizing a bunch of answers. Right? But the way we're learning this is to make us effective. I want you to be an effective resource that's also certified, not just a certified resource that isn't effective, which is how most people play this game. For homework, let's see, what was our homework last week? I think we had quite a bit.
Validation.
So yeah, we did admin beginner.
Yeah.
Let's see how far along we are in admin beginner. So I believe we've covered getting started. Did we do data modeling yet?
Yes.
Okay, data management we probably have not done. I think this was one of the ones that I assigned for last week.
Yeah, the mobile customization.
We did mobile too as well. Okay. So let's do user engagement. Why not? And then let's go to developer beginner. I'll save reports when we're closer to reports. So we did platform basics, data modeling, data security we should have covered. I probably had you do what? Formulas and validations. So let's do lightning flow. Let's see how far you can get on this one. This is our automation suite. So we'll do a preemptive strike on these. Let's try and get those completed. And then next week, we'll probably start getting into automation. So it'll be a nice way for you to formulate some questions. Other than that, that's all I've got for today. Does anybody have anything they want to cover before we break? Like I said, I'll try to have all the recordings up and running.
Just a quick question, Ryan. Where are these recordings at?
I'll
Posted?
put it in YouTube for you.
Okay.
Hang on. I'll put my channel and you can just follow my channel. Let's see. How do you share this thing? It's like right. I thought you could just share your channel. I can do it on my phone. Let's see. So if I go to my channel, I think maybe this will do it. Copy. And then chat. Let's see, does that take us there? Yeah, there we go. So there should be like 11 or 12 of these at this point. I think I'm only to like 10 as far as the recordings I've uploaded, but it's everything we've done so far. So if you need to, feel free to go back and revisit. Anybody else? Thanks again, those of you that are sticking with me here. This is one of the harder portions of the class, but I think by the end of next week, you'll feel a lot more comfortable. We're going to continue to do this, only we're going to do it with real world functionality in our project that we're creating. So if it didn't make sense the way I've been teaching it, maybe doing an actual project, working on it will solidify it for you. All right.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, everybody. We will see
You're right.
you on Tuesday, hopefully.